Hi, I'm Olivia, and today's happy nugget comes from Frank Darabont, the American filmmaker most famous for writing and directing the timeless film The Shawshank Redemption, and writing and developing the hit television series The Walking Dead. Frank Darabont adapted the films The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist from American writer Stephen King's short stories. Darabont adapted The Walking Dead from Robert Kirkman's comic book series of the same name. When I saw the first episode of The Walking Dead, I was shocked. The silence was deafening, the pacing brilliant. I thought, there's no way this aired on television. And I've never been a fan of zombie lore or the horror genre. But like everything else Frank Darabont makes, The Walking Dead is not a show about zombies. It's a show about human beings, their human potential, and the obstacles we all have to face and overcome. The Shawshank Redemption is simply one of the best films of all time, one of the greatest stories of the triumph of the human spirit. In an interview in 1999, speaking of how he started in the film business, Frank Darabont said, "To me, Hollywood was this vast Olympus that was impenetrable. It took me 3 years to get a gig as a PA. I didn't even know what PA stood for, although later I found out it stood for production assistant." Speaking of his first short film, The Woman in the Room, Darabont said, "I was 20 years old and wrote Stephen King a letter. He said, 'Okay, kid, go ahead.' He gave me the option for $1. He's been known to do this for young filmmakers. It's his way of giving back. So I spent the next 3 years making that film with my friends. A few years later, in '86, I asked him for the rights to Shawshank, thinking that would be my first picture. So he gave me that option as well, for $1. Then I waited until my ambitions as a writer caught up with my actual skill to adapt Shawshank. The toughest thing for me my first time out was knowing I could rely on my instincts, that they'd do right by me and carry me through. The self-doubt creature in you never goes away, so all you can ever do is trust your instincts." Frank Darabont was born in 1959 in a refugee camp in France to Hungarian parents who'd fled Budapest during the Hungarian Revolution. When the Russian tanks rolled in, Darabont's mother had all her possessions and her little daughter on a toy sled, dragging her through the snow, while squadrons of soldiers in the woods were shooting anything that moved. Darabont's family emigrated to Chicago and later Los Angeles. Early on, Darabont was fascinated with great storytelling and great storytellers, from Charles Dickens to Harlan Ellison, from Frank Capra to Billy Wilder. In 1977, Darabont graduated high school and did not go to college. In his own words, he decided to kind of attack life and hope it worked out. Darabont spent almost a decade working odd jobs on and off film sets, from forklift operator to busboy, from set design to set construction. Darabont learned how to make movies by watching them, loving them, and absorbing everything there was to absorb about the film business while working odd jobs. He learned how to write by spending hour after endless hour writing and honing his craft. In 1986, Frank Darabont got the opportunity to rewrite the script for the horror film Nightmare on Elm Street 3. By the time Darabont was ready to make The Shawshank Redemption, he had a few writing horror credits to his name and had directed one made-for-TV movie. Because of this, several top A-list actors declined the starring roles. But the production company, Castle Rock Entertainment, believed in Darabont's script. However, Darabont was offered a large sum of money to step aside and let a renowned filmmaker direct the film, money that would have changed his struggling writer life. Darabont was tormented by the offer, but he refused to defer his dreams in exchange for money. He declined the offer and made the movie he wanted to make, casting Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman in unforgettable roles. Although critically acclaimed, when The Shawshank Redemption was released in 1994, it was a commercial failure. But after being nominated for 7 Academy Awards, it became the top rented movie of 1995. Today, The Shawshank Redemption is routinely listed as one of the greatest and most beloved films of all time. What you need to portray the fierceness and the beauty of the human soul is not necessarily a track record, a renowned reputation, or a lauded education. What you need, above all, is a love of story, a love of people, and an understanding in your own soul of what lies hidden in the depths of other people's souls, both good and bad. Frank Darabont is a master storyteller. He mined from some of Stephen King's most memorable stories, the power of hope, and like an alchemist, he gave us gold. Darabont doesn't compromise his vision. He fights for what he believes in an industry that often values money and power over everything else. In an interview in 2007, speaking on creative freedom, Frank Darabont said, "The truth is, it's never the right time for anything. They'll come up with every excuse in the world to try to stop you from doing what you want to do. And that's the inertia, the unstoppable force, the immovable object you have to overcome. It ain't easy." I couldn't have told you that The Shawshank Redemption would be this incredibly embraced and loved film. All I know is that I set out to make the movie I made and was proud of the result. It then belongs to the world, and they make of it what they will. Some are beloved and some aren't. You do the best job you can. I just want to make a movie that counts, that isn't like everyone else's movie, that isn't part of some formula that's being offered up by Hollywood. I want to have a voice as a filmmaker, that is, my own. In life, sometimes we get to work for and with great people. Sometimes we don't, and we make the best of it. But no matter what, never compromise your vision. Trust your instincts. Be true to who you are and what you want to do. Give it your best shot, and know that whatever happens after that doesn't define who you are. And that's today's Happy Nugget. If you enjoy this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. As always, I link below the video anything I recommend. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.